welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is Transfers Live. My name is Joe. I am joined by the one and only Adam McCullough. How are you?
What is going on, people? We are back with a sexy bang.
We are back with a sexy bang. And actually, it is pretty bang, actually.
Yeah, it is bang.
There's a lot of Sancho news coming out, so I can read it because I'm quite tall, you see.
It's like Fat Joe over here.
There's a lot of transfer news today. The biggest stuff is around Jadon Sancho, obviously. It's been the news for a while.
Here we go again, Joe.
But actually, there has been pretty massive updates today from all of the major outlets and reporters. So we'll be getting into that. We'll also be looking at Varane. We'll be looking at that. We were meant to be talking about Varane. And then about 2 or 3 hours ago, the Sancho world exploded. So should we get straight into Sancho?
You want to get straight into him?
Let's just gobble him right up. So this is from Mr. Romano. Manchester United still negotiating for Jadon Sancho. No panic. All parties involved still confident and optimistic to reach an agreement in the next days. There's multiple outlets here, so I'm just going to go through a few of them. BBC saying that United have increased their bid for Borussia Dortmund star to 72.6 million with add-ons on top of that. James Ducker saying the same thing. The Sky saying the same thing. Everyone saying the same thing. There's been
Who went first?
The first one I saw was Romano with this, I believe, but it all sort of happened at once.
I saw Build kind of come out.
Build, sorry, it was Build. No, you're right, it was Build.
And then like Simon Stone jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Now this sounds like, because one of the things I just said there was Simon Stone jumped on a bandwagon.
Yeah.
Now that's incorrect, because actually Simon Stone very rarely follows what others do. Like the BBC journalists tend to go with what they know.
Yeah.
So this seems like it's a coordinated briefing or release of information to the press, because we also heard, was it John Fjortroft? Have I said his name correctly?
Yeah.
I think I have.
Yeah.
He reported earlier that Dortmund were like, no news is good, no news, there's nothing else going on, they're not paying up, yada, yada, yada. Now, was that an attempt to force that second offer through and get an official bid in again? Or was it, what was it? Who knows? But it seems like that second bid's gone in. Now, what are we hearing on the numbers of this bid? Are we any closer to that magic number of, what is it, 90
They
million
want 85 million, but what's been reported is that this current bid is around 75, 72 perhaps, but with add-ons to take it up to 85. So just shy of what they want with the 90, but much more in that ballpark compared to like any offer that we saw last summer, which was
they
like 40
want
million
85 up front with add-ons to take it to 95.
Mixed reports. So what the main thing is 90 million. Whether that's with add-ons, without add-ons, I'm not sure. The number, Dortmund want 90 million. We're offering them 75 with options to go up to 80.
So we're getting close.
We're getting very close. And this is sort of like, last summer they wanted 120 and we were like, 90? And that's like, really, that's 30 million off. Whereas this is maybe 4 or 5 million off, something that they may actually compromise on.
And the fact that, because when we're talking these figures, we're talking in euros. So it'll come in around 82 million pounds.
Yeah.
If we get him cheaper than what we got Paul Pogba and around the price of what we got Harry Maguire, that's good business,
Yeah.
Because I expected it to be a £100 million plus deal. I genuinely did. Now, with wages and things that they'll do in the press, as we know.
Could cost up to 300 million. It's like, if he stays for 10 years and he's on 500 grand a week. Yeah.
Like, I hate when they do all that, but I genuinely thought the transfer fee would be £100 million.
Yeah.
So it's actually good business for United. And to get it done early, if we can, would be great. Now, I've been crying out for him to start for England. Part of me, thinks with my United hat on, Rashford, Sancho, keep him on the bench to get loads of rest. Mm-hmm. Could Gareth Southgate be thinking his head's gone with this move and just not putting him in the team because of that? But then you'd argue, why is Harry Kane starting if that's the case?
But the difference is Harry Kane's the captain, is the top goal scorer, he's one of the most experienced players for England in the squad. I reckon that could definitely play a part. Jadon Sancho's played, 15 games for England, or in and around that number anyway, has never really been, put himself in the undroppable category as if for his performances for England, alone. Maybe if it was the other way around and Sancho was, a top player who had proved it, this wouldn't be enough. But I think you might be right that Southgate's probably thinking, well, there were rumours that he was distracted at the start of the season, wasn't there, with Dortmund, where he was disillusioned after.
It's actually not even rumours. I think Gareth Southgate came out and said that.
Yeah.
He said his head was gone at the start of the
so
season.
maybe he's thinking, well, we've known in the past that he can, maybe lose his head a little bit around this move. If it falls through again, or if he doesn't get the news he wants, that might affect him on the pitch. I'm better off picking people like Sterling, who I know what I'm getting, even if it's not, the best player in the world.
Therefore.
But yeah, it does seem like, how long we've been looking at this? 18 months?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the most confident you've been that this is going to happen?
Me and you turned up on deadline day last week.
Right.
Like
Let's get this Sancho deal done.
Get that Sancho merch ready for the website, lads.
Yeah.
So we were confident last season.
Yeah.
I've been tired of it this season, and I've been less emotionally invested in it. I think that's partly because I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, this will happen now.
Yeah.
Now, we could mess it up, but I don't think we will. I think there's going to be riots if these mess about.
Imagine if they don't get him again.
I don't even think it's just not getting Sancho. Why are you messing about him, bro? Why are you pretending to want him if you're not going to do the business?
Yeah.
And I even think Sancho, when players go, wow, they wanted me, and they were like, fucking, I couldn't say no, they wanted me so badly. Wouldn't you start thinking boys, do you really want it?
Yeah.
Because you're not acting like it at the moment.
No.
And I think sometimes you have to go, right, we've had enough of this fanning about. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I
think it'll happen.
Yeah, it does seem like this is the closest it's been. I think it is the closest it's been. All the journalists that were saying, we think this could happen, are now saying, we think this will happen. It does feel as though it's a matter of time thing. And the people who are as clued in as you can possibly be are saying, he's going to leave, it's going to happen. Patrick Berger, if you haven't seen it, check out the Tier 1 Transfer podcast with Ronaldo and Jay that came out yesterday or the day before. He's saying he will leave Dortmund this summer. There is a difference here. This is going to happen. And just a little bit on, obviously we'll do a lot more of this. We'll look into what Jadon Sancho can bring to Manchester United in further future videos. But how important is someone like Sancho for United and just filling in that right-hand side? And not that he's just a fill-it-in player.
It's important to get it done just so we can stop talking about this potential transfer because I know everyone at home's sick of it.
Yeah.
So are we.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's we have to talk about it because unfortunately Man United fans want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. There are updates about it every single day. But we're getting tired of it as well. We want this to be done. So that firstly would be great, just to have it done. And then we can start thinking about, actually, how does who do we have up front now?
You know what does this mean for Greenwood? What does this mean for Rashford?
What does it mean for Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah, well, also, here's a point. So Rashford, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but has certainly played at least 10 games on the right-hand side last season. A lot of that was to allow Pogba to play on the left. Well, now...
Or Marshall at certain points.
But now you're not going to push Sancho out of the team to put Rashford on the right, to put Pogba on the left. It almost causes another problem midfield because where do you
forces you maybe to go 4-3-3.
Yeah, maybe.
And then
where does Bruno play?
In that 4-3-3.
Yeah.
As one of the 8s. I think with the way he plays, and I know we didn't even need to give a penalty away at the last minute today, but with the way he plays, I think he could do that 8 role perfectly. Yeah. You then have less, I think 10 goals probably drop off Bruno's tally for next season, but Sancho has added 15 of his own. So it's you improve the front line and you then improve your midfield by the fact that someone else can drop in there. So, the next signing after that needs to be centre-back, centre-mid, get that solid, get that sorted. And then if you want to get Trippier at the end of the window or whoever as a squad player, carry on and do it. But it'd be good to get that sorted ASAP.
Suram Bala with a super chat says, hope you lads are doing well. Thank you very much. I'm doing good, Hope you are as well. Random question. Are you worried about Bruno's form? Read somewhere he's played the most out of any player this year, which is true. 83 games before tonight, I think it was, in 12 months. Surely he's exhausted now. Definitely needs a break. Everyone really. In my eyes, he's clearly tired. He needs a break. Hopefully, he'll get at least a month off.
I was buzzing to see him on the bench today.
Yeah.
Just leave him out. It's even I feel sorry for Rashford I know Rashford would be gutted that he's not playing for England.
Yeah. That was the ice machine through there.
Fucking hell. What?
You got this Rufus caving in.
Yeah, I thought, what the hell's going on up there? But, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Rashford needs a rest.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing that he's not playing. Yeah. That's good for me. I just wish maybe they weren't in the squad as well.
Yeah.
Greenwood's going to need that rest.
Definitely. Yeah, he should. Well, he's getting it now, though, isn't he? So that's helpful. Josh Band says, do you think Sancho will need time to adjust to the Premier League, or do you think he's a player that will be comfortable from the start? I think he will. I think, regardless of the fact that he came through at City, he didn't really play for City. His whole professional career has been in the Bundesliga. What he won't need time to adjust to, or will need less time to adjust to, is living in Manchester, the weather in England, Manchester. You know what I mean? Those sorts of things that you do occasionally hear people come across and say, it was a shithole and the weather was horrible, which we wouldn't agree with. But he's not going to be surprised by that. But he's never played in the Premier League, so certainly nothing meaningful. So he might need a little bit of time to adjust. Yeah, do you think?
I don't think so.
No,
I think Bundesliga's it's not as strong as the Premier League, and I think there was a player. It might be wrong in regards to it being Thiago. There was a player or manager that came over, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, someone. There's been a few Germans struggling in the or people that have come over from the Bundesliga, and they said like that shock of fucking hell, every game in this league, teams are looking 90%. To beat you. Like in some games in Germany, I know to not disrespect everybody, but you can take your foot off the gas a little bit and still win some games. Here you can't.
No.
And I think that changed. But in terms of the style of football, in terms of even him being English, bro, his whole life he's played in England apart from the last few years. That counts for something. Like being able to adjust to the pace and stuff of football. He is English at heart. So he will play the traditional,
And he'll have family and friends, and it's a completely different setup, isn't it? And also, I think one thing that's been overlooked a little bit, because he's playing in Bundesliga, because he's not getting games for England, people are sort of questioning and doubting. Numbers-wise, he is the best creative player, for his age in the world by an absolute mile. No one is getting 15 assists a season on average over 3 years at aged 19, 20 and 21. It just doesn't
The thing
happen.
that changes for him, though, is you're now Manchester United's probably number 7.
Yeah.
£80 million signing. The press say it's £150 million. Like you then have, and we saw how initially maybe Harry Maguire struggled to deal with that. But obviously he's improved as it's gone on. So he will have to deal with those things. But anyway, there you go. It was Werner, says a few of the people in the comments.
Danny Shields in the Super Chat says, what's the list of outgoings you want to see and which ones could contribute to necessary ins? Who's leaving?
I want Diogo Dalot to stay.
Really?
But I think the funds there could be used towards Trippier. I like Diogo Dalot, and I find the kind of disdain or like you just there saying, really, like, I find that weird, bro. I'm not saying this is why you don't rate him, but if he came through the academy or if he was English, we'd all kind of want him to stick around, and we'd say, actually, he's gone on loan to AC Milan. Yeah. He's done reasonably well. Bring him back into the mix. Yeah. I think he could be that option. And Trippier may be a better option for next season, but in 3-4 seasons' time, will we be looking at Diogo Dalot potentially playing for Real Madrid or AC Milan or someone and going, we missed a trick there, Because it could happen, do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying he's shit, get rid of him no matter what. I just think it was like almost like, I don't know, it was weird how little of a chance Ollie gave him. It almost made me think something's going really wrong in training, because what was the one game he scored in the cup when Maguire scored as well? But other than that, it was like, you just don't play for Man United. We are getting you out as soon as we possibly can. Maybe it was because he saw some value in a sale of him that we wouldn't have got in some of the other players like Young and Phil Jones and those sorts of players. Maybe he thought, well, if he has a good loan, we might get 25 million out of him. I don't know, but it's weird how Jose and then Ole back-to-back both went, I don't know what to do with you, you can go. That's what worried me. But I'm not saying he's shit. I think it was because if he's good, I hope he plays.
Ollie couldn't particularly guarantee him X amount of games.
Maybe.
And then Diogo probably thought, because you've got to remember, this is a boy that came over to the country.
Yep.
He was massively rated in Portugal. I think he'd just, in one of the under 23 tournaments, he was like one of the players of the tournament. Mourinho was saying he's the fullback of the future and all that.
He's on the Golden Boy shortlist.
You know what I mean? So he came here highly rated. He's not going to want to stagnate.
No.
And he's going to look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka and think, I'm as good as him. Or, I'm at the same stage as my career. I should be playing.
Yeah.
And I think you got to take your hat off to him. He went to a club where the pressure's on.
Not easy, yeah. And I don't think he started well there, but ended up doing all right. Right, what's our next story then? Let's move on. I think we'll be talking about Raphael Varane next, another one that's been linked with United. Go on.
Luke Oru says, while we're on the topic, Dalot is the biggest fugazi player ever. I think that kind of means like fake, fraudulent, not real.
It's a woozy.
I ain't got to say it on real. Work out the odds and pop off the steel.
I love that.
President, top off the hill. don't pay orders if you can't afford the bill.
Did you? Oh, oops. You broke my laptop.
I recommend you just chill.
Jesus Christ.
You get kill off, Khalid.
Right, Raphael Varane, El Confidencial has said that Los Blancos have come to the conclusion that he doesn't want to renew his current deal, with a suspicion Varane has a very important agreement with another club, mainly thought to be the Red Devils. No, that's not Belgium.
That's why I got my France topper.
That's United. What?
Varane.
I haven't really spoken to you about Varane very much. Do you think we've got a chance here? Because to me, the longer this goes on, the more I think, you know what, he might fancy it. Because Real Madrid aren't that good anymore, let's be honest.
You know when we did our 3-ins, 3-outs, and I was like, Varane, Sancho, I think I might have said Decky Rice. Mm-hmm. I said Varane, thinking he's got 1 year left on his contract, should be available at a reasonable price. Maybe he wants to move. Let's make this happen. But I didn't expect us to make it happen. Mm. And some people might disagree, but he's my first choice signing, centre-half.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's the best option, surely. He's the most proven option. He's only 28. He's still a very good age. He's won everything. And to me, I mean, Romano said it to us, so maybe that's why I'm thinking this. But we know that we are. But here's the thing, though. We know that we are genuinely interested in Varane.
Yeah.
It's not like rumour has it. He said United's main target at centre back is Raphael Varane. Ollie really likes him. They're talking to his team. They want to know what's going on.
Because we've heard Pau Torres brought up. We've heard, and I think we've got a little story about it today.
Yes,
Koundé, we've heard about him. And Fabrizio's also mentioned how they are on the shortlist.
Yeah.
You'd imagine Varane's top of that because of the fact that, unlike Pau Torres, who I think Villarreal, their resolve's been strengthened to keep him now because of Champions League football, is a bit of a risk. Now Varane's still a risk. He's never played in England, but less so.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
Varane's won 4 Champions Leagues.
And you're hearing 40, 50 million.
Incredible.
It's a deal. It's a steal. It's bargain of the fucking century, mate.
That is mad, isn't it?
It is.
I think the rumour, the one that was sort of stuck out a little bit with one of the top tier Real Madrid journalists was 50 million euros.
Euros?
Well, maybe it was pounds. I think it was euros. Anyway, 50 million euros, 58 million quid, whatever. Or the other way around. Sorry, if it's not euros. That is sensational, isn't it? That's like we've got that money.
How old is he? 28?
Yeah.
28. It's my age.
Yeah. It's my age in a month.
It's my age in 6 months.
Yeah, 4 years ago. I think that might. I'm not going to say I think it might happen. I think United are really.
It was a lock stock quote for those that were listening.
I think United are really going to push for that. I actually do.
I hope so. This seems like one of those that's going to wait till after the Euros, though, isn't it? And we're going to have to wait a while because France is probably going to win it.
They might do. They haven't looked that good, though. They didn't look great today, and they weren't very good against Hungary, so I wouldn't bank on it.
You don't have to be good right now.
It might be someone that actually, that's true. But Italy, maybe a decent shot.
How did they start the last tournament? Were they just flames all the way through?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. Ruab Kaladia says, do you see Renato Sanchez's performance tonight? Low-key rate him. He needs to do it for longer than a year, though, doesn't he? Yeah.
You know what it is as well, yeah? You know, international football, and I know today the opposition were different, but most teams in international football are at a lower standard than 80% of the teams in La Liga, Serie A, and Premier League, right?
Yeah.
They're not quite at levels. So players like Renato Sanchez should stand out in most international fixtures.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm never quite sure on international football and judging players.
Oh, it's been such a minefield in the past, hasn't it? Like Nuno Gomez and people like that. What was he top scorer in 2004?
He did score the cheeky little back heel against Barnsley in a 7-0 win.
But nothing quite lived up to that chip, did it?
I'll never forget that goal.
I didn't see it at the time. I've had to see it since because I don't think I was born.
Showing my age again.
Yeah, exactly. Right, what's our next story then? Let's move on. You mentioned him before. Pau Torres.
Pow! If you don't know about me.
No, about me. Pau Torres release clause is 65 million euros this summer.
I wanted to sign just for that now.
Yeah. Oh. Think they'll sing that in the...
Pow! If you don't know about we.
Pow. Do you think they'll sing that in the stands?
Good,
it would actually. Pow. Pow. Pow.
Yeah, I'm Pow. Yeah, I'm Pow. Yeah, I'm...
Pau Torres and Raphael Varane are the two centre-backs struggling with United. Who would you prefer? You've said Varane already.
Raphael Varane.
What are your thoughts on Pau Torres?
Talented lad, scored again today. Stood out in the Europa League.
Yeah.
But it's the Europa League.
But it was against United.
Against United, but we're shit.
Yeah. Good point. Okay.
The thing with me would be, is he an improvement on Lindelof right now.
Yeah.
And there's a question mark there. And because of that question mark, I'd have to say, give me Varane instead. But if we're looking at alternatives, Pau Torres, not a bad option. Koundé, not a bad option.
They're the main ones, aren't they?
I'd give anything for one game of Bay and Sergio Ramos.
There's not been much linking him to United
PSG,
since yeah.
PSG.
But that's the thing, because people are saying Varane before. People are saying Varane, oh, he's going to PSG. What are you on about? What are you talking? I don't think they're going to get Ramos and Varane, do you? Or do you think they might?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't.
It'd be a lot of money as well, and there's talk of them getting a few other players. Greg says, no thanks on Pau. Slow player, no aerial presence. Not what United need. Lindelof is better.
Interesting.
So I think he does have aerial presence, but I do agree with the pace side of things. Lindelof's looked good in this tournament. Again, it makes you think like...
And also, like, I think sometimes, because he's an area we can improve Victor Lindelof, I think people sort of throw him in with like, any player that should leave or that maybe isn't good enough for United are all just the same quality as each other. Like Dan James or Fred or Lindelof. Those three players aren't of the same quality. To me, Lindelof is a step above the other two. Do you know what I mean? And I think Fred is probably a step above Dan James, but I'm not trying to slag off Dan James. But I think just because we can improve on Lindelof doesn't mean he's absolute shit.
I like Lindelof.
Yeah, me too.
I think if we didn't have to rely on him, we'd appreciate him. Because you have to rely on him, fucking hate it.
It'd be a great option to have. If we had 4 centre-backs, or, a couple of backups as good as Victor Lindelof, that'd be a very decent defensive line. But it's just that when he's starting every single week...
I'm worried though, Joe.
What?
I feel like we're just going to ignore this midfield position.
That's what Romano said to us. DM isn't a priority. If we can get to it, we'll get to it. But
if the fact that everyone can see it, but you, not Ollie, is worrying to me. Does he think, I sort out that defence and it will take care of itself? Maybe he's right. He's more experienced. He knows more than us. But it's a glaring one, and that could cost you your job.
But maybe he's thinking right wing is more glaring, centre back is more glaring, or more easily fixable. Because I was saying this to Jay the other day. At right wing, Jadon Sancho is available. He wants to join. We can afford him. Dortmund are willing to sell him. Perfect. Centre back, Varane is relatively available. 1 year left on his contract. Someone like Ramos is available. Pau Torres, 65 million, isn't cheap, but it's doable. Koundé, the same thing. There aren't quite such obvious, not sort of galactic number transfer fee signings in defensive midfield. Because the main one we're being linked with is Declan Rice, and people are talking 80, 90 million.
Yeah, it's not worth that.
So, like, who is the obvious DM that is relatively available for 60 million or less?
We've heard that price tag tighten around Sal Niguez now. It's whether we fancy him or not.
Again, there's question marks about him playing that role by himself.
Again, yeah.
Or not by himself, but having to do that.
I don't want to go into the season in a 4-2-3-1. That's just not what I want to do.
I think we will, no matter who we have. I think Pogba and whoever are going to be playing deeper.
Ruben Neves?
Yeah. But I don't know if you could do it. Just him and Pogba, do you think? Yves Bissouma's one. But again, if United go for him, he's going to cost you a fortune.
Seems like he's going
He's not that proven, is he, if we're honest?
Arsenal? He keeps
unless he turns them down like everyone else does as well.
What about Spurs, man? Desperate over there.
It's looking
feels like
really
we need to
rough.
pay our piss take just for that.
We should do. We'll do
that
one.
is desperate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's desperate Dan. Proper desperate Dan stuff.
Lopetegui, bro.
He got binned off by Spain before the tournament and still managed him.
He takes...
and he was like, see you later. Because he took the Madrid job and Spain were like, fuck off.
He takes a City job, Chelsea job, Liverpool job, United job, Everton job.
Probably because Ancelotti's been there, yeah. What are they doing? I reckon they go into the meeting with Daniel Levy and say, yeah, I'd love to manage Spurs, you're a good club, great stadium. I was just thinking I'd like to make 1 or 2 transfers this summer. And then Levy just goes, see you later. If they even ask for 1 transfer, no, that's it. See you later, shut the fucking door.
Can't be dealing with this.
I'm just going to have this again, am I? Like, we want 1 player for like 18 minutes. No, get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Have you seen the stadium? It's not going to pay for itself,
What does that say about, is he keeping Harry Kane against his will? Is he, I can see Harry Kane still at Spurs next season.
Definitely.
I hope he is, because if he doesn't, he's going to be at City, innit? So,
yeah.
I hope
they'll make so many goals for him. Do you remember when,
I hope they don't get
tricked
Grealish.
into thinking that Raheem Sterling was a goal scorer because of how City set up goals. He got like 30
Outscored
goals.
fucking thing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Harry Kane will get 50 goals in that Kane team. Maybe not 50, but like if Sterling can do what he's done in the last couple of years, he's improved a lot as well. But Kane is levels above Sterling in positioning, in finishing, in even, is as good as him as a creator as well. That's not a good combination if United want to win the league anytime soon. Danny Shields with a super chat. Computer shut the bed, but wanted to say that Varane meets the criteria that Ollie set for the kind of character he wants in his dressing room. Humble, arrogant, winner.
I like that combination.
Me too.
And Paula Bills, mate.
Yeah, he's been good again, hasn't he, tonight?
You might know, but you know what I mean? If Pogba's staying,
yeah,
that means he might be in a good place.
Yeah.
He tells Varane, hey, I'm staying. You want to come? We'll win something.
Well, speaking of international mates, Pogba.
Welcome to
trying
Oliver,
get Varane.
by the way, joining the first team.
Yes, thank you very much, Oliver. Well, Pogba trying to get Varane in. What about this lad, Cristiano Ronaldo? Man United hold Ronaldo transfer talks. Apparently, we're just testing the waters. We're going, what's it going to cost?
He'll end up in Paris. But
not everyone's going to go to Paris. They're not going to get Ronaldo and Varane and Ramos.
they're not getting Varane. They're getting Ramos and Ronaldo.
Right.
In cheap deals.
Come on.
You know what? I'd fucking do it for the banter.
Would you? Imagine a front three, Rashford, Ronaldo, Sancho.
Rashford, Ronaldo, Marshall. What's that?
Something like that. We're being linked with Ronaldo. Again, these are talks that have been apparently...
Bring him over to Spain, Viva Ronaldo.
He's not in Spain anymore.
We have to spring that.
37 years old. He just scored 2 goals again tonight to put Portugal through, by the way.
20 goals in the Euros and World Cup competition.
22 now.
Tournaments.
Amazing.
He's the bollock. No, he hit his 20th today.
Oh, did he?
That
Sorry.
penalty. Did
21.
he score again after that?
Yeah.
So
2
21.
penalties, yeah.
Yes.
21 goals.
Ronaldo.
I mean, I'd have him back at United. Let us know in the comments, would you have Ronaldo back? Because it's one of those that the older he
You put
gets...
all sense. So what you do
there's
is you
some
go,
chance.
sense,
Yeah.
you fuck off.
You leave.
Heart,
Yeah.
come here. You make
Yeah.
this decision.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And ultimately, people my age and a little bit younger, Ronaldo has given you some of the greatest times of your life.
Yeah.
Ronaldo has probably been the greatest player you've seen. And if you took out emotion for Cantona and Giggs and Scholes and longevity and all those things, Ronaldo's the goal that we've seen in a Man United shirt.
Yeah.
No, nothing tops that.
No one's won a Ballon d'Or in our lifetime for United.
Yeah, only 4
Except
players have at United.
Yeah.
Holy
3 of
Trinity.
them were in the 60s, yeah.
Holy Trinity and Ronnie. Like, no one comes close.
No.
It's like if you said to me, Solskjaer's resigned, Cantona wants the job. I said, fucking let's go, lads.
Give it him.
Like, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to make sense.
But let's try it.
Yeah,
Let's
do
see.
it. I'll take Beckham back
Everyone, as manager...
today. Give him
Player.
the number 7 shirt.
Player. Everyone in the comments saying, yeah, they'd have him back. Ronaldo, yes, 100%. Philip Glover, why not? I like that from Philip. Just, it's not a confirmed yes, but it's a... Nah,
Imagine John Murto going to Ali, so... Come here. We've heard.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo, a little bit interested. What do you reckon? And he just goes, why not?
Why not? And then lights a cigarette and walks away. That'd be great. Danny Shields, how much do you give up to have Ronaldo come back and have one glorious double treble? Is that treble seasons back to back?
Yeah.
How much do you give up? I'd lose a couple fingers for that. How many fingers would you be willing to give away for Ronaldo to come back?
I'll give them 2. You don't need them, do you?
No, but they're good for like balancing like a
They're my strong
fork.
fingers.
Jesus Christ.
And they're my... these ones are negotiable.
Negotiable.
Yeah.
These ones are on the table. What I will say is, much like the NHS under a Tory government, these fingers are on the table. I'm not saying I want to get rid of them, but there's a conversation to be had.
I'd also potentially go bald.
Yeah, I'd go bald easy.
I'd take this beard off.
Yeah.
Not if he signs, but
No, for that.
if I did it and then he signs.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Just in case someone tries to,
Yes.
when he signed for us in the summer.
No. one's
I
gonna
remember,
shake their
we were speaking to Paddy Curran. I think it was at the Wigan game.
Yeah.
Just before. It was Jose Mourinho's first match for Manchester United, I think. It was against Wigan at the DW Stadium. And we saw Paddy Curran after the game. And he did a fan cam for us. Now, Uncle Paddy Curran. He loves being a little bit crazy, wild. He just says what he thinks.
Yeah.
And we were saying to him, we knew it was funny. Like, I weren't expecting any in the know. I was just like, oh, so Paddy, you got any transfer rumours for us on that? And he went, tell you what, a former United player's signing for us. And we went, Ronaldo.
Yes.
Pogba signed for us a few weeks
Really?
later.
So we did know, though. That's good, that, isn't it?
It's good, yeah.
That's really good.
But we all went, oh, he's saying Ronaldo
Yeah,
signing
he's messing
again,
about.
bloody hell.
Yeah, and he was actually right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Paul Pogba, that's a great segue. Thank you, Paddy Crone. There's been talk about the Paul Pogba situation. Fabrizio Romano, Man United are currently not negotiating with any club for Paul Pogba, despite rumours around a €50 million value with 1 year left on his contract. United won't sell Paul for this fee. They want more, basically. New contract negotiations not advanced yet, but Man United will try to keep Pogba this summer. He's saying there, we'll try to keep Paul Pogba this summer. I think the most likely thing to happen is he plays a year, he leaves for free. What do you reckon? I mean, what do you reckon to what Romano said there for starters?
If that was to happen, United have to go take 50 million for him.
You think?
And sell him. And
I think it's just too embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but it's also, you're then resigning to a season of, from January, him talking to clubs, Raiola opening his mouth, all that stuff. And I think we want to be going into this season thinking, right, where are we going? Whoever's here right now, we're moving forward together. And I think going into that season with that would be disappointing. So if he doesn't sign a new deal by 3-4 weeks before the window closes, I'd start looking to sell him. As much as I love him, I think you have to do it.
I hadn't even thought about that. If we want to be challenging for, let's say, history would show us we're going to be in at least one semi-final under Ole, and maybe a final as well. He's actually very good at getting us to the last stages of cups consistently. So if we're fighting for 1, 2, 3 cups at the end of the season, and you've got Paul Pogba literally legally and openly talking to the top 5 clubs around Europe for a free transfer, that's going to be distracting and shit for the rest of the team, isn't it? You're, one of your talisman, your sort of most
Remember the Moyes season when Vidic left halfway through?
Yeah, we don't want
and
that.
it's like, that's your captain, bro.
Yeah, fuck that.
This stinks.
It's embarrassing.
Like, I was fuming with Vidic,
Yeah.
It kind of took a little bit of shine off his United career for me. Obviously now, in hindsight, Moyes was lunatic. Everything was crazy there at the time. I can put that to the side. But at the time, that bothered me. Like, we're going through this moment, and you're leaving.
And now's when you jump ship. Yeah. Sidant Badam says, there was an Athletic video that said the marketing sales for Ronaldo covered his Juve transfer. If he comes, ads should easily cover his high wages. I don't think the reason he wouldn't come is because it's too expensive. I mean, yes, he's on €500,000 net or something, so what would essentially be £1 million a week. That is a lot.
That's something we could do.
That is something United could do, yeah. I think it's something United could do.
Especially if De Gea leaves.
Yeah, that's half of that covered.
People don't realise, the last few years, we have reduced our wage bill a lot.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the players that left, Alexis Sanchez, Ashley Young, Lukaku, Zlatan, all these players left. If De Gea leaves as well, and the players we brought in, like Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, they're not demanding
Bruno's
the wages
like
that Alexis
grand.
and Lukaku and that were.
No.
Like
Lukaku,
nowhere near.
No, Alexis was what, $400,000 a week, something like that?
Our wage bill was reduced massively.
David De Gea is on either $350 or $375. I think he's the most highly paid player in the league alongside Aubameyang. Like, that's one. I know that in terms of quality, it should just be who's better on the pitch. Don't worry, Henderson, De Gea, who's better? That is something that is counting against David De Gea. The fact that he costs probably 4 times more a week than Henderson, and the difference is maybe negligible in their quality over the last couple of seasons. Is that all? No more stories, we're done. Ronaldo maybe coming back. The main news today, let's go over it again one more time before we go. United have made another bid for Jadon Sancho. Romano, we've got Berger, we've got Sky Sports, we've got Simon Stone.
This is legit, guys.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
More bollocks.
No.
And we're all tired of it. And
Yes.
we all see your comments, like another Jadon Sancho video. We've just got to ride this till it's done. And we know people also want updates on it. It's getting closer. It's going to be done, hopefully, in the next few weeks. Then we can start talking about Jadon Sanchez in our team. going to be good, isn't it?
It's going to be really
and
good.
if we get Varane, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
21's coming, mate. I'm putting it on T-shirt.
And that's the thing. Don't let this drawn-out saga that we're all sick of deflect from the fact that we are signing the best young footballer in the world, alongside
one of
maybe
the best wingers of that.
it's creator. He's the best. Mbappe and Haaland, you can maybe talk goal scorers. They're better than him. He's the best creative youngster in the world by a mile. Let's not forget that.
Wingers on that level.
At his age as well, there are none. Even just wingers generally.
Sancho, Marshall, Greenwood,
What?
Rashford.
Cavani, Ronaldo perhaps, who knows? But yeah, this looks like it's coming to an end.
Come in.
And we'll be covering absolutely every single second of it here on Stretford Paddock. Thank you very much for joining me, Adam. Thank you to everyone for joining us at home. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Click the notification bell, especially during transfer season. When something happens, we will go live and tell you about it.
Subscribe,
so click the notification bell if you haven't already. Do that as well. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.